What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And yeah, as the title said, the family Jeep collection is kind of growing here lately. Obviously, as we have had the last few videos on Mom's 2015 Jeep Wrangler JK here, we are now adding to the collection with Dad's new daily driver. This is a 2020 Jeep Wrangler JL. And this is actually an altitude package, which gives you kind of some cool features, or I guess more or less appearance items than just a normal sport. We'll obviously do a quick walk around on this thing, but today we're going to be removing features from Dad's new Jeep Wrangler JL. And you might be wondering, what would you be removing? You're a Jeep guy, you add things to a Jeep, you don't remove them. But today we are going to be removing or disabling the auto start stop. Dad has owned this thing for just a few days now, and day one immediately said, man, is there a way to turn start stop off so I don't have to hit the button every single time? And again, start stop, love it or hate it, it is kind of a mandated thing at this point for fuel economy numbers, EPA kind of stuff. But the mechanic in me and the mechanic in him just know, or just, it doesn't feel good having that engine start and stop constantly. You know, when the engine shut off, you've got the oil running to the bottom of the oil pan. You're immediately getting back on the throttle. The engine starting, moving, ripping into RPMs. It doesn't seem like a very nice thing to do to your engine if you're wanting to keep this thing for a long time. And we typically keep vehicles for quite some time and put a lot of miles on them. So today we're going to, like I said, be disabling auto start stop, and then he'll never have to hit the button. He'll hit it once and it will be good forever. So again, let's take a quick walk around on this thing, and then I think we'll actually be doing the first mod or repair or whatever in the new house garage. Now, is the house done? No, absolutely not. Is it supposed to be done mid this month? Yes. Is it? I have no idea, but we at least have a path in the garage around a pallet of toilets and plumbing fixtures. So we're going to hopefully wedge this thing around so we can make our first video in the garage, check out the lighting, and I can have the fan going. So guys, like I said, 2020 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited JL, and this does have the altitude package on top of the Sport S package. Now, what I've already done day one, before he even drove this thing home, was pull the big plastic wind fairings, or the tire air deflectors that go here on the side, and then the large air deflector that goes underneath. To me, it just looks a lot more Jeep-like when you don't have all of that plastic hanging there on the front. And even so, a Rubicon or Overland wouldn't have had the plastics there. It is just a sport thing for whatever reason. So I always like pulling those off because it just makes it look so much more Jeep-like off-road, like it just looks a little bit taller. So that's what we've already done here. Now the altitude does come with the black trim here around the headlights and the grille surrounds. Now, instead of 17s, the altitude does come with 18-inch black, gloss black aluminum wheels. We've got Rubicon rock rails, we've got black badges. Now, walking around to the back of this thing, it was optioned with the rear blind spot cross path detection, so it does happen to get the LED taillights, which I do really like on the JLs. They just look a little more upscale than the halogen base lights. Now, jumping inside of this 2020 JL, it was, again, kind of cool or weirdly optioned here. We do have the auxiliary switches, which is very nice to have. We do have cold weather group with the heated seats, heated steering wheel, remote start, but it was just optioned with the standard 7-inch screen instead of the 8.4. So there are kind of some weird or interesting options on this thing. But guys, enough talking. Let's see if we can get this thing in the garage and get the auto start stop disabled. All right guys, so the install is relatively simple with this thing. What this basically does is plug into the security gateway module and basically remembers the last switch state of the start stop switch. So if it was turned on the last time the vehicle was shut off, the next time you turn it on, it basically just pushes the button for you. And so, you know, it's not doing any tuning, it's not doing any programming. All it is doing is just sending that signal for the start stop switch, basically, that it was pressed. So, you know, is this voiding your warranty? No, I can't really imagine or envision how this is voiding any kind of warranty, since you are not tuning, you're just basically disabling a switch or pushing a switch for the vehicle for itself without you having to do it. So we will jump under the steering wheel here and quickly get to our security gateway module and get this thing installed. So here underneath the steering wheel, we've got the lower steering wheel shroud, and all we've got to do is basically unclip this from the dash. And there aren't any fasteners even, it is just all of these plastic push clips. And then guys, looking underneath the dash, kind of right behind this area is the security gateway module. And right there we can see the two plugs with the yellow and pink wires that are plugged into the security gateway module. Now the only difference will be if you have the premium audio. There's going to be an amp that is going to be very inconveniently placed basically right up where we are looking. So you're kind of going to be doing it by feel. You can look through a little area and actually get to those connectors. But again, this one without the premium audio is 100 times easier just to reach up and get those connectors. Now the kit or the wiring harness is right here. All it does is plug in line of that security gateway module on the smaller 8-pin plug, and then it comes with, you know, 3 or 4 zip ties so we can zip tie this up and out of the way so it's not sitting there rattling while you're driving down the road. So guys, up here with our security gateway module, again, there is a little tab on the back of the connector. You can push that and pull down and disconnect. So now with our new harness, we are basically just doing the reverse. We are going to plug the aftermarket harness into the security gateway module, and then we will plug our factory connector into this, and then again, like I said, zip tie all of that up out of the way. So guys, just like that, we've already got that installed. Again, like I said, I'm going to get it zip tied, cut all my zip ties, and get our panel installed, and then we'll fire this thing up and see if it actually does work. All right, so now that we've got everything hooked up, we are ready to fire this thing up, and currently it should still be off, or on, depending on how you talk about it, since this is the first startup. Or it will apparently default off. So yeah, that is our start stop button there. And I am kind of interested to go and look at the start stop screen. And with that off, it just reads off. And then if you hit the button, turn the start stop back on, it reads our current reason why it's not going to work, which is the cabin cooling. But with the button pushed, we should be able to turn it back off, fire it up, and look at that. We've got our light on the start stop button. And now Dad here will never have to push the button ever again. It will just be off always, which is kind of what I would want. Also, there's some other ways you can do this with unplugging the start stop, the battery sensor under the hood, but you're gonna have a check engine light or a start stop light on the dash. So I mean, yes, this is a $100 little plug-in device that hits the button for you, but it is the nice way to do it versus some of the other ways you can disable start stop. Because like I said, we've got no lights on the dash and everything is going to work correctly. Remote start, you know, all of that kind of stuff is just going to work as it should, since it just thinks you have the button pressed. Well, we successfully completed the first repair, mod, whatever you want to say, here in the new garage, albeit a relatively straightforward, easy repair or mod, which is probably good because we have absolutely no tools over here to do anything. So a plug and play fix is probably a good thing to start with. But we're inside a garage for once. What's next with Dad's new JL? We've got to get these tires taken care of. We are still on the factory Bridgestone JlUR HTs. They aren't even the Bridgestone JlUR ATs. They are the HTs, and they're pretty tired. They're pretty boring looking, I guess I should say. So I may have already picked up a set of tires for this thing before he even drove it home for the first time. So now, are they big, huge 37s? No, they are a set of 34-inch, 33 and a half, 34-inch Nitto Ridge grapplers. Was able to find a quick set on Facebook Marketplace that still had really decent tread. So we are going to be doing another kind of cool OEM Plus lift, mini lift on this thing, similar to what we did on Mom's JK. We're going to be throwing a little bit of spacer, and then we've got some factory JT Gladiator Fox shocks for this thing. So I don't really know that I've ever put JT shocks on a JL, but I guess we will learn together next time we see this Jeep on the channel. So a little bit of spacer, JT Fox shocks on this thing, and some much, much better tires, and that will hopefully get this thing sitting a little bit taller. So guys, until next time with the new JL on the channel, I really appreciate you guys coming out into the garage for the first time, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.